Hello, guys, welcome back to the Jai Thakkar show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Very fine, very fine. All good?
Yes, sir.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay. So, before starting the podcast, let me introduce Radha, sir. Although there's no need to introduce him, but his name is itself a big thing. Radha sir is Deputy Director of Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. He is India's number one business author. And one special thing which I personally want to mention is that if you guys are Eklavya, then Radha sir is definitely your Dronacharya for life. So I'm really very humbled and honored to welcome you on my show, sir.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. I'm happy to be part of your show, and it's an honor to speak to all the people who are present. And thank you once again, Jay, for inviting me to your show, the Jai Thakkar Show.
Thank you, sir. So, first of all, how Chanakya is learning? We all say that Radha sir is Chanakya of 21st century. So, how Chanakya's learning help you start and grow Chanakya Anvikshiki?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. Chanakya's wisdom will help not only Radhakrishnan Pillai, but Chanakya's wisdom can help anybody who actually want to study, understand, and apply his principles. So coming back to the question that how did I get benefited, like anybody who is interested in Chanakya or any subject will first fall in love with the character. So if you study some great people, it's natural that you start liking that person, respecting that person. It could be Mahatma Gandhi, it could be Swami Vivekananda, it could be any saint, or any particular hero. But what happens is some people get to the next level of not only loving the person but trying to understand the life of the person. So I think with me also, I think it was an inspiration to study Chanakya. And I went deeper to understand his principles, did a lot of study, research. Of course, as many people know, I actually also did a PhD in the subject. So as things grew, my understanding also grew. But what is very important is that I started applying the principles of Chanakya in my life. And it's been almost 20 years that, I've been in this particular field. And, right from understanding Chanakya at the individual level, today I am applying Chanakya through a lot of institutions. So, for example, at Mumbai University, we have the Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. And you said, we have a company called Chanakya Anvikshiki Private Limited.
Yes.
What we do is that we ourselves study Chanakya, but we also teach Chanakya and apply Chanakya for a lot of organizations, individuals, companies. So this is Chanakya's Kripa only. So I don't claim that I am Chanakya of the 21st century, but yes, I have tried to apply Chanakya in the 21st century. No doubt about it that this is something that we require to understand Chanakya in the modern day era. And it has been my little bit of a contribution to modernize him. So that is how my journey has been. And the good part is that with friends like you, the journey is only going to become bigger and stronger. So all of you, please join the bandwagon where people are becoming fans of Chanakya. And most important, the fans are going to be successful by applying Chanakya's principle. That's how it is.
100%. 100%, sir. So coming on today's topic of Chanakya's advice for Indian entrepreneurs. So first of all, let us talk about this pandemic which is going on today. So how Chanakya's Arthashastra and all the Chanakya's learning can help an Indian entrepreneur in blooming their business in this pandemic.
Yeah. So please understand this. There are two things. One is Indian entrepreneur, and the second situation of pandemic, or what we have the current lockdown because of the coronavirus, COVID-19. So Indians naturally are entrepreneurs. Okay. What is the meaning of entrepreneur? Many times we confuse entrepreneurship with startups and businessmen. Entrepreneurship comes from a very interesting word that is called enterprise. Somebody who has got the will to do something is actually an enterprising person. And with that will, that determination, with that energy, with that enthusiasm and inspiration, if you start something, then you are actually an entrepreneur. So if you look at it, I think Indians always experimented with ideas. Always, not only in the business ideas, they are the ones who discovered fields of mathematics, from zero to
Yeah.
infinity and everything in between, science, technology. So I think for tradition, our Indian culture always had an entrepreneurial spirit. They were very adventurous. They climbed the mountains and built temples in Kedarnath and Yamunotri, Gangotri. At the same time, they went to the depth of the sea and found out so many principles of oceans. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying, we already have it in our genes to actually understand what is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is actually taking a risk, okay, of
Yeah.
something unknown. So our rishis took a risk of actually experimenting with God also, and they actually realized themselves called moksha. So all of
Yeah.
us are fortunate to be born in a country where entrepreneurship or taking the high risk is a part of our thinking already. Now coming to the modern day Indian entrepreneur, and we directly apply to the entrepreneurship in the business field. Okay, I think for so many generations we've been thinking like followers. We were studying to get a job.
Yeah.
Okay, we were not studying to become an
Right.
entrepreneur.
100%.
And one of my formulas has been this very clear that instead of looking out for a job, think about creating jobs. Now, if you look at it, almost 99% of Indians get educated because they want to get a job, maybe a government
Yeah.
job or a private job.
100%.
I think the first thing that Indian people think should do is to think like an entrepreneur. So, what are we supposed to do? Number one is to take the risk, but don't take a risk without calculation. So, take a calculated risk. Second thing is to have a mentor. Whenever you're doing something unknown, you have to have somebody who can guide you. As they say, even the spiritual path, you require a spiritual guru. So any
Yeah.
field you go in, you
100%.
require a mentor or a guru. So entrepreneurship also, you should have some guru who will train you. And the third thing is you should have a long-term commitment. A lot of people, try something, it doesn't work, they change. Then it doesn't work, they keep doing
100%.
multiple things, but unfortunately, they never actually become truly an entrepreneur. Succeed in one venture and then duplicate it. Don't keep duplicating without success. Now, coming to
100%.
the current situation of a pandemic, as you said, I always believe that there are different challenges that will keep coming to entrepreneurs. So right now it is pandemic. Maybe after a few months it will be over, and you'll have new challenges. But an entrepreneur is never having a temporary approach because of some challenging situation. So situations will keep changing, challenges will keep changing, but entrepreneurship should always be committed to face the challenges. So currently,
Wow.
yes, there is a challenge. There are financial issues. People are not sure. I think nobody is sure anywhere in the world. No government and no president or prime minister or chief minister is sure what's going to happen next. And no businessman is also sure about it. But they're saying, instead of looking at the dark side, there is some white side also. Okay, so what the ways of looking at the pandemic situation? Number one is that look at the positive side. At least when you're not able to go out, okay, so the government is telling you until it's very important,
Yeah.
don't go out. But even at home, you can actually use lot of things to maybe keep your work going on. So there is a concept of work from home. We have
Yeah.
technology with us. Now we are speaking, and we are using
Yes.
technology through an Instagram live so that we can think about how to do business at home also. And therefore I suggest that this is probably the nature's way of telling us that don't keep running too much. Sometimes thinking is very important. So you'd be surprised that I would look at this as a very positive state for entrepreneurs, where the nature has told, take a break. You have been driving too fast. Now just stop your car, fill up your petrol, make sure your engine is working properly, do some checks and balances,
Yes.
and then start again. So I'm saying that instead of worrying about what's going to happen to my business, start thinking about my business. And as you rightly pointed out, there is a subject of thinking called as anvikshiki, which means think what is the thing to do, what to do, and what not to do. In the same lockdown period, I've been so positive that I've been looking at my business from a new perspective. I've written 3 books. I'm advising thousands of people directly, indirectly through these shows. So I would say that entrepreneurship always should have positive outlook. Okay, and remember one thing: situations will come and go, but entrepreneurs' determination should always stay. Situations will come and go, but the determination of an entrepreneur should always stay. So, be it the pandemic situation or a normal situation, your spirit of fighting and becoming a winner should always be there. That spirit should not die. And definitely don't think about dying yourself before death comes. A lot of people get into mental stress and think about funny ideas of giving up their body also. No. Chanakya will never accept somebody who gives up. Okay? So walk up, wake up, and start running towards the goal that you have decided. So now is the time for thinking, and when everything will be normal, you will have to keep running and flying. So prepare now for a great future. That is what we should think about very positively in this situation.
Wow, great, sir. And as we were talking about thinking and being a job creator, many people are losing job in this pandemic. So, from what I have pursued, this situation is like it is actually nature is telling India that the people who are doing jobs, who are just thinking about job, they should actually, when they have experience of few years, then they can use that experience and start becoming an entrepreneur and becoming a job creator rather than again falling for job seeking part. So what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on it, sir?
So I think an entrepreneurship is a spirit that you have even when you're working, and at the same time when you are creating work for others. So many people think that entrepreneurship will start after I have my own company. Okay. Now
Yeah.
that's a very funny thought, because I'll tell you, if you are not thinking like an entrepreneur when you are working, you will never be able to think like an entrepreneur after you are having your own company or enterprise. So what is the situation? So let us look at two situations. One, you are already working, and the second is probably you are not working or are out of job. Okay. So if you're working, generally most of us think like employees. What is the meaning of thinking like an employee? It means that you are wondering how much salary will I get. Okay.
Hmm.
But suppose you're working and let's say you are getting 50,000 rupees salary, just as an example. An entrepreneur doesn't look at what I get, but what I can create. Okay. So if you're working, do some budgeting exercise of your company. What is the meaning of that? Suppose you're working, let's say, in the social media department or marketing department or finance department or IT department. Okay. Just look down and say, I'm getting 50,000 rupees. Okay. Now, what is the budget of my department? Budget of my department? Not many employees think like this. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. For example, if you are having an HOD, okay, who is the head of your IT department, and you are one of the programmers over there. Now you may look at 50,000 rupees, but there are 10 people. So indirectly, there is 5 lakh rupees. And the HOD has to present a budget to the company. Okay. So 5 lakh rupees is only the salary, but there are equipments, there is a laptop, there is Wi-Fi connectivity. So if you're understanding that process, you will realize that even though I'm getting 50,000 rupees, the company is spending almost 10 lakh rupees per month on my particular department.
Wow.
Then you say, oh, I never thought about this. Because usually when you become a businessman, you start thinking like this. You don't have to become a businessman to think like an entrepreneur. So you look at the numbers, understand how it works, and slowly you get in the entrepreneur mindset, and then you don't complain. Instead of saying, my salary has not increased, you say, okay, the company's profits have not increased, therefore they can't give. When you
Wow.
think about incentives,
Great.
a lot of things. So it's a mindset. So therefore, I always tell this, and if you want to be an entrepreneur, first learn from somebody else before you start your own business. For example, if you look at the Flipkart guys, they worked in Amazon. I don't know if you know about this. They actually
Yeah.
worked in Amazon. They were employees, but they were thinking like entrepreneur. They learned everything from Amazon, came back to India and started a competition for Amazon. So an entrepreneur is not about competition, but learning from the world best. The second thing is that, let's say you're out of jobs. Okay, so what if you're out of jobs? You may be out of job, but you still have your life with you. Please understand this. Your biggest asset is that you were working. Now you don't have a work. Okay, but you are still there. So the common thing without work or with work is you. So what if you have lost a job, but you are there, right? You can go and create jobs. Many people get into depression, into mental health issues, lot of stress level, anxiety, fear. I said, come on, yeah. I mean, this is not the way, and that also only for 3 months. But look at the positive side. Everybody is getting food. The government is giving food free. Everybody is still able to sit down and chat on the internet and Google research. There are so many free webinars happening. Instagram live, YouTube live, Facebook live. So first thing is that if you lost a job, it's okay. I mean, it's a temporary break. So it's okay, You will be surprised to know that not many people know about this, that I was actually working for a company and the company actually shut down. Okay. Not many people know this. The first time I'm publicly announcing this. So many people think I lost my job. I did not lose my job. Okay. What happened is I used to work in a company called as WorldTel. Okay. And we had a very great founder. His name was Mark Mascarenhas. He was a cricketing legend, and we used to work with the giants, Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid during those days. And I was heading one of the divisions. Think about it. And suddenly, Mark died in a car accident, and I was without job. So when you lost your job, and I didn't lose my job. The company doesn't exist anymore. So it is not because of underperforming or something like that, but the founder is gone. So what do you do? And I remember this exactly this year 2000, and this is 2020. 20 years ago, I didn't know what to do. So I was looking out for another job. Okay. So in one way, 20 years ago, I also was in between jobs. So this job is gone because the founder is not there. Everybody in the company had to leave because the company had to wind up. And then I was looking out for a job, and by the grace of God, I had some opportunities. But I realized one thing, that I went to my spiritual guru, and Swami Teju Mananji from Chinmaya Mission. And he just asked me, what are you doing nowadays? So I'm looking out for a job. And he told me, instead of looking out for a job, think about creating jobs. I had no idea. And I'm talking about 20 years ago, where there was no entrepreneurship culture, no startup India, stand-up India, and nothing. But I said, no, let me take it positively. And I started my first business venture called as Atma Darshan. It took me 6 months. But let me tell you, my dear friends, if you also look at the situation where you're sitting down at home, let me tell you, my dear friends, you should not worry during this particular situation. You should be thinking during this particular situation. What is the difference between worrying and thinking? Worrying is like a rocking chair. It moves, but it doesn't go ahead. Okay, so you've seen a rocking chair. So movement is there, but there is no progress. Now thinking is saying, okay, there is a situation, what do you do? What is the solution? What is the activity? What is the next step forward? So instead of looking at the problem, you look at, how can I resolve the problem? What can I do next? So this is the mindset. So I say this also very commonly, that chinta mat karo, chintan karo. So instead of worrying, strategize, think. And Chanakya calls it anvikshiki. Anvikshiki is do research, thinking, look at new strategies. And let me tell you, God has given us a time when we can actually do thinking and look at it positively. So what if you lost a job? You're still around. Be positive about it. Think that what else can I do better? And look at me. Even though my last job is gone, today after 20 years, I'm creating jobs and helping a lot of entrepreneurs. So every particular bad situation has got its own positive side. But it's how you look at the situation. Glass half empty or glass half full. I would say it's a half full glass, and I will make it full, completely full. That's the role of an entrepreneur. Yes. So take it positively, and all these situations are only temporary, but life is permanent.
Great. And also, when you are talking about like thinking of company's profit and everything, I actually remembered when we were in school, we had those free lectures. We all students gather around. We were thinking about कि school कितना पैसा कमाती है, हमारे से इतनी, इसकी इतनी. And that is what change. Actually, we can think that if we as students were thinking like this, so maybe if this thinking is nurtured well, then they can also become a very big businessmen and entrepreneurs of India.
So I think you are a Gujarati, right?
Yeah.
So Gujaratis already have an entrepreneurship mindset. Okay. So what happens is that if you're in a school and you're thinking that, if I am paying 30,000 rupees, and everybody, you start calculating, 100 students means so many lakh of rupees. Kharcha. Yeah. But let me tell you, that is only one part of entrepreneurship. Okay. Now this is very calculative mindset. Calculation and understanding of finance is an important part of entrepreneurship, but that doesn't make you an entrepreneur. Many times you become a trader by such calculative mindset. Okay. Entrepreneurship is also about value creation. So if I know, the school is making 30 lakh rupees a month and they are spending 20 lakh rupees, okay, and they go to 10 lakh ka profit banata hai. That is calculation, that is balance sheet. But you know what? The entrepreneur will think, okay, why are they making that extra 10 lakh rupees? Or why are the students paying 30,000 rupees? Okay, so they will question that. They don't look at the bottom line. Bottom line is a byproduct of some particular value addition. Because if you look at the same thing, one school would be actually having more students standing in line, while another school who teaches the same subject may not even get proper full admissions. So an entrepreneur says, okay, for making profit, there is same two schools, But there is something better in this code. Is it the brand? Is it the
Mm.
value addition? Is it the teacher? Is it the teaching methodology? And then he or she, the thinker, will say, okay, if I'm to make profits, I need to understand what is that uniqueness. You study that.
Wow.
Because having a number calculation is very easy, and you don't have to be educated to understand numbers. Even a person who is begging on the road can do some calculations. Okay. Even a
Correct.
shopkeeper, takes in 10 rupees and sells in 12 rupees. That is not entrepreneurship. Okay. That is
Okay.
calculation only. But what I'm saying is that entrepreneurship is a deep thinker. He says, where is the value addition? What is that USP? That this person is making money and the other person is not making money. This person is a brand and the other person is not a brand. So study that in detail and go beyond balance sheet to understand the philosophy of the company, the vision of the
Wow.
company, the systems, the processes, and then you will start understanding, oh, this is what works. And then you have to take the risk.
Wow.
And let me tell you, every entrepreneur knows that day one you never make money. So if you're money
Yeah.
minded, okay, if you're money minded and your only aim is to create profits, then you only become a trader. Okay, trader is very simple. You take in 10 rupees and sell in 12
Yeah.
rupees. But that is not entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a risk taker. Trading is not entrepreneurship. Okay, please understand. So I respect traders, no doubt. We require traders, but entrepreneurs is wealth creation. They are having a very deep understanding of how the world works, how the whole finance industry works, and it is moving from finance to global economics today. So what is the whole thing? So you have to be very deep. In fact, I would say one more quality an entrepreneurship required is to also do a lot of thorough research. Okay. So when you're reading,
Yes.
don't just read the balance sheets. Look at the philosophy, look at the people strength, look at the training, look at the technology part of it. So when you start thinking so much deeply, you'll start getting insights and go, oh wow, this is what makes Apple different from others. Okay. This is
Yeah.
what makes Google's different from other search engines. Okay. So looking at Google as a financially successful model is one thing, but look at the mechanism. Why is Google today? Okay. Or why is Apple today? As somebody said very nicely, there are only two kinds of mobiles, Apple and everybody else.
Yeah.
So why is that Apple? It's not that the other people don't brand or they don't have that kind of a features. I think most of the mobiles have common features. Any smart mobile will have the same thing, but then Apple stands out. Why? So that thing, to understand the philosophy of Apple, go into the mind and the mindset of Steve Jobs and the creators, and say, oh, okay, there is a model behind it which I need to crack. If you crack that, you are a true researcher, and then you become a true entrepreneur. So don't just be money minded, you have to be money conscious. You have to go beyond money to create wealth.
Wow. Great, sir. So, sir, if someone like me or a 21-year-old person want to start their entrepreneurial journey during this pandemic or after the pandemic, what would be your advice to them?
So I can't make it very generic because everybody is case to case. So it all
Oh.
depends on so many factors. So if you want to become an entrepreneur after this lockdown period, then I would say it depends on quite a few factors. For example, which industry are you going to be an entrepreneur in? For example, if you want to do something in manufacturing, okay, so it's a very different kind of a model currently because manufacturing is a very high capital investment. You will require labor, you will require government laws, policies, and with the lockdown, the manufacturing industry
Yeah.
is working, but it's not at that pace. But suppose your industry is going to be in the field of technology, then I think this is a good time. You can just have a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection and a mobile, and you can start. So it depends first on the
Yes.
field. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to understand which field you are. Second, it also depends on your age group. Okay, so young boys and girls can easily become entrepreneurs. So they can take a risk. At the same time, if you are financially well off from a family where probably for the next 5 years they're not dependent on you to earn. Okay, then you say, okay, I can devote next 5 years without earning something. Okay, so but a lot of people I've seen in India, they may be the only earning member of their family. Okay, or they may be from a very humble family where the job matters. So even if you want to actually become an entrepreneur, the situations may not encourage you. So I would suggest that be it corona problem or before that, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to understand your own situation, your own responsibilities in life, and most important is that do a financial calculation. Okay, now second part is that even if your situations are not good at this particular point of time, don't give up the dream of being an entrepreneur. I've seen a lot of people initially they worked for a few years, got their financials right, but they slowly built up their business parallelly. So you can actually start your business slow, one step at a time. And I always give this formula that whatever idea you take up, commit yourself for minimum 3 years. In fact, this I learned from the Gujaratis and the Kutchi communities that if you open up a shop, don't close it for the first 1,000 days. I was afforded a 1,000-day formula. And one of my Kutchi friends was very nice, 1,000 days is actually 3 years. So if you look at 365 days multiplied by 3, so it's average 1,000 days. So what happens when you understand the cycles? Because in business there is a pattern. So suppose you are selling crackers. Let me just give you an example. So first you will not even understand where the cracker comes from, what is good quality crackers, when do people buy it, what is the pricing. So you learn it. But then you start realizing in India specifically, the crackers, the biggest time, the right time is during Diwali. Okay.
Diwali.
Then there are wedding seasons also. Okay, this is the first year you are experimenting. Second year you know it. Third year you perfect it. Okay, and then fourth year is when you actually get a grip of the business. So a lot of people, what they do, 6 months they try one idea, say the next 6 months they try another idea, and then finally they have no idea, and they say nothing works. So my suggestion is that whatever be the situation, especially in the pandemic situation that we are in right now, think about an idea, do a research on that particular idea, look at a situation, and if you are lucky, start now. Why wait for some other time to open up? And it's very, very important that whenever the right time comes, start. Entrepreneurship should never just remain a dream. It should also become a reality. So ideas into action is also entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Wow, great, sir. And also, I have heard somewhere that you said that entrepreneurs are also spiritual warriors. So, can you please explain that?
Yeah. So, what does spiritual warrior mean? Okay. So, who is a warrior? A warrior is a fighter, isn't it? So, if you look at generally, warriors are directly connected with the the army and things like that. So, when you say you have this particular person who's got maybe a sword or an arrow and he's going and killing everyone, so that's like a war hero kind of a person. This is a warrior. So that's warrior. But entrepreneurship is also having the same spirit of fighting like a hero and saying, come on, let's do it. But there's another word which I used along with warrior is spiritual warriors. So what is the meaning of spiritual warriors? Okay, so warrior is a fighter, no doubt about it. But a lot of people fight out of ego. A lot of people fight out of will. But a spiritual warrior doesn't fight out of only human will, but he actually thinks that this is his dharma, this is his duty. Okay, and then there is some different kind of a power you get in fighting the same battle. Okay, so let me give you one example. There is a concept called as Desha Bhakti. Okay, Bhakti is also devotion. It's also spiritual, isn't it? But everybody in the army may not be a Desha Bhakta. They may be doing it as a job. So I'm getting paid and I've been told go and fight the enemy. I'll go. Shoot, I will shoot. But remember one thing, when the same warrior is fighting with the concept of a Desha Bhakti, then he becomes a spiritual warrior. Then he's not afraid of death. Then some other power comes in, even if your weapons are less. Okay, even if the enemy is stronger and you are weaker, you say, I will not give it up. Of course, you should have strategy when you're fighting a battle. But spiritual warrior is a person who has got the inner strength and conviction to achieve a bigger purpose. So like if you look at one of the greatest example is Arjuna and Sri Krishna in the Mahabharata. So Arjuna was a warrior, but when he went to the battlefield, he saw the enemies, they were all his own people, and he started getting depressed. He got into stress, he's got into what we call mental health issues. I'm not going to fight. But then Krishna said, listen, get up, this is your swadharma, this is your responsibility. And the contribution of Sri Krishna while giving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is to transform just a warrior into a spiritual warrior. Same principle applies to entrepreneurs. When you're doing a business for the sake of money, then it's one level of entrepreneur. But when you do it with your bhava of bhakti and spirituality, then you say, I'm running a business. But you know what? It is also Desha Seva. Okay? Yes. By doing this particular business, I'm creating so many jobs. So if a soldier is fighting on the borders, I'm also fighting. I'm providing employment to 10 people or 10,000 people. But because of my efforts, so many families are surviving. So many people are. So what I'm saying is that don't be a money-minded guy. Okay, you will create wealth, but you have to look at like a higher purpose. And I'll tell you, anybody who becomes an entrepreneur will always have some challenges or others. But the real spiritual warrior or a spiritual warrior entrepreneur is the one who says, so what? I have got the divine grace. I have got the blessings of Lord and my teachers and my gurus and mentors and my parents. I can never fail because I'm fighting this not for my selfish purposes. I'm fighting this for the sake of something higher, for God, for my country, or whatever. So when you have this attitude, then actually entrepreneurs become spiritual warriors.
Wow, great. Uh, and I've come across this new concept of monetizing hobby.
Yeah.
Where it is like, for example, if I'm working in a software company, and my hobby, my passion is to be a stand-up comedian, but I'm not getting. I'm so for getting that financial stability, I have to monetize my hobby, and this concept, I think, I am very fascinated about. But for a person who want to start this entrepreneurial journey, and also he is doing a job for getting his financials correct. So should he start doing parallelly? And if he start doing parallelly, then what should be his? Uh, how can he balance those things?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to do that. So, for example, you're working somewhere, okay? So, probably you're working for 5 days a week or 6 days a week, whatever. So, that's a commitment. So, almost 8 to 9 hours of your time per day is going for your job, and you're getting some money there. But let's say you have some talent or hobby that you actually possess. So, maybe an artist, or as you say, you're a software engineer, you can develop something, or maybe you're a dance teacher, or you're a cook for that matter. Please understand this, that this can be monetized also. So let's say I have a singing talent, I can take some extra class from singing, maybe train somebody. The second is, if I'm a good cook, maybe I can create a small kitchen kind of a product. Maybe I can start a bakery and things like that. So it all depends on the first point of time management and the second point of customer relationship. Okay, so what do you mean by time? So if you're already working, don't wait for giving up the job. So if you're working 5 days a week, you still have Saturday, Sunday, right? Or maybe you have the evenings. Every evening, 2-3 hours also you can do, or maybe 2 days in a week. So you can manage your time. And even if you're working, you can be an entrepreneur in a small way. Second thing is that when you're an entrepreneur, and especially as you said about hobby and all those things, how much people are ready to pay you? In the first stage, because it's a hobby, it's a passion, you don't know how much to charge also. Okay, so that's a journey which every entrepreneur goes through. I know of a lot of yoga teachers, so they were practicing yoga and suddenly said, somebody said, why don't you teach me? And they say, okay. And they start come and ask, how much do you charge? They said, I don't charge. But then said, okay, if there is money, I don't know how much. If you overcharge also, that's a problem. If you undercharge also, that's a problem. So many times you don't know what is the right amount to be charging, especially when it's a hobby. It's like a painter, he's painted something very beautiful, and somebody comes and asks you how much is your charge. You don't know, because you generally look at it as the canvas and the paint and the brush cost. But there is a value creation which people don't understand it. So my point is that whenever you start something out of a hobby, it is not easy in the initial stage to put a value to it, because you're very passionate about it. If you're a tradesman, it's very easy, okay? Because somebody created it and they say, okay, 10 rupees, 12 rupees. Okay, he said, give me a discount. Okay, get ticket at 11 rupees. And if he says, I want it at 9 rupees, he said, no, I don't care, I will not pay. So it's a very trader mentality of not. But if you're passionate about it and somebody comes and says, I like your painting, how much is it? And you say, maybe 1,000 rupees. But he says, I can only afford 500 rupees. So you start thinking, oh yeah, 500 rupees, maybe I'm not getting money, but somebody is buying my painting. So it is like a very good satisfaction for a person with a hobby if somebody pays you. Like our mothers, so mothers keep cooking such a nice food for all of us every day. But you go and tell your mother, the idlis or the doklas that you're making, why don't you cook it and sell it? She says, will somebody buy this? I'm, making for my family. That's good. First of all, you only don't appreciate and what the others will appreciate. But then it requires a bit of a training that you have a talent and it can be monetized also. It takes time. But what I'm saying is that you need to understand the customer satisfaction level. So whether your hobby can be converted into a financial business model depends on what the customer feedback is and how much they can pay. And also tell you it's an experiment. It also evolves with time. For example, a lawyer, who has studied the same law course, if he's practicing, in a sessions court or a local court. He may just get, maybe 500 rupees or 1000 rupees for a hearing. Same person who studied law, who's in Supreme Court, may be charging lakhs of rupees. So
Yeah.
please understand, your customer also depends upon how much they can pay. Okay, so I'll give you my example. Okay, as far as what Chanakya is my hobby, it's my passion, and now it's also become my profession. But I also know
Yeah.
that in certain places I can't charge and I should not charge. Okay, for example, now we are doing this particular show. It is
Yeah.
like the greatest contribution to what you are doing, Jay. So I can't say,
Yes.
pay me 50 lakh rupees, then I'll come to my show. I'll be the most stupid. Okay, but the reality is that when I do with companies, okay, and I work with some of the biggest companies across the globe, okay. So I work with the Microsofts, I work with the Googles, and I work with Indian companies like the Aditya Birla Group and a lot of things. At that particular time, if they ask me how much, I have to charge them properly. So what is very important in that? But remember one thing: the knowledge of Chanakya is the same. So just because
Yeah.
I'm doing something free for college and for many education institution where I don't really charge, education for me is my contribution to the society. I'm a teacher, isn't it true? I can't commercialize it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realize one thing, that if a company comes to me, they may pay me also. It's a very different kind of an experience you go through. But you know what? Both the places, my value addition is always the same. That's my passion behind it. So coming back
Wow.
to the question thing, that first time when you're starting entrepreneurship, it's all about time management. Later on, it becomes full time a profession. Then you have to work on your commercials very easily, and that's the reason why you require a mentor who will tell you how much to charge and how much not to charge. So this will be done in the long term. But start being an entrepreneur from where you are.
Wow, great, sir. And if one wants to start their entrepreneurial journey, what will be the present markets where they can, start their journey in Indian market, especially? What would be the new field where they can easily go and they can set up their business easily?
See, I don't know an exact answer, because I look at, everywhere there is an opportunity in India. It depends on you, okay, which field you want to be. Like a lot of people tell me, now you're done Chanakya, why don't you try something new? Because, there is opportunity everywhere. But I said, no, I don't want to do it, because I'm happy with my Chanakya field. Okay, I'm happy with what I'm doing. But it may not appeal to you. Okay, for you, it could be, okay, Chanakya is good, but maybe I want to do something in the software industry. So what I'm saying, in India, actually, this is a wrong question, which field to go. My question is that which field you want to choose. Okay. So it is not like, unfortunately, like many countries where they don't have much opportunities. In our country, we have an opportunity everywhere. Touch the field and you can make money. For example, you want to start something in manufacturing today, everything is made in India concept. Suppose you want to start something in digital, you can, the TikTok app is closed now. Okay, then you can start something there. If you want to become a teacher, there is money there. If you want to become a researcher, there is some money there. If you want to become a dancer, singer, or an artist, there is money there. So which is the field you decide. But yes, after that, be committed to that field. So don't try to do something half-heartedly. So my suggestion is that choosing the field is your choice, but commitment to the field is your next choice. So you have to be committed. But my suggestion is that sometimes you don't have this particular idea whether I'm taking the right decision. So that's where a mentor who has already traveled the path before you. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you want to start a business in tourism. And today there are so many tours which unfortunately got cancelled. So it's becoming virtual business of tours. So you go to places. You can become a virtual tourism guide. But you don't know the tourism field. So ask a tour guide, ask a tourism company, or ask a person who has already done it. So what I'm saying is that choosing the field, we are lucky that it's like a buffet dinner. So many dishes out over there. But what you like to eat depends on you. So your plate can be filled up with everything. But I would suggest taste everything, but try something that will fill up your stomach. So try, but commit to one thing as a long-term commitment as an entrepreneur.
Wow. And also, sir, I have seen that many people are very less aware of the different upcoming fields. Like now, government has given a big amount of money in private space agencies.
Correct.
But when I've searched for the private space agencies, they are like only 4 are there in India, and that also they are very premature. They haven't set up any rocket or something like that. So and many even research field, India has given big amount of money in research and development, but people are like engineer, doctor, or some rat race where they are thinking that money will come. So how can they think that is this rat race good for me, or becoming an engineer is good for me, or should I go and try something new?
So this is what I call your generation problem of too many opportunities. Okay, so your problem is not where to start. There are so many fields you don't know. So your biggest problem is choosing itself. In fact, our generation, maybe 20 years ago, we didn't have choice. Whatever we got, we started. Now the thing is that so many choices, but you never start only. So it doesn't matter whether you're engineer or whatever. So my suggestion is that there are two type of fields currently. One is called the tested fields and the new age fields or the new age industry. For example, if you want to start something, let's say in the manufacturing industry, you don't have to think much. You have to just go and work in a factory and start it. But new age businesses are like digital platforms. It is like, the online thing, which is not a time tested thing. They're only one generation. So there is a lot of trial and error. Okay. And the good news is that the traditional businesses are also using the new age businesses. So let me give you an example. Suppose your daddy has got a shop. Okay. That's a very traditional thing. You have to just go and learn from your daddy and start and expand your shop. Okay. That's one choice. So your daddy, let's say, a very simple example, is a very famous brand locally, okay? And, probably, it's just very simple example. He's got a branded, maybe a garment shop, okay? But nobody knows beyond your local area. You go there and say, okay, let me take my daddy's brand to make it very big. And you study and, maybe become an engineer or, become an MBA and say, okay, let me create this boutique shop into something like a Zara. So even if you can't become a Zara, at least, I'm saying, from one shop, can you make it 10 shops? That is one thing you should do. So that's a trial and tested method where you can scale it up. But the thing is that even in the traditional method, you can actually have the digital base. So can my dad's business have an app? Okay. And create more. That is exactly what Amazon is doing. What is Amazon doing? Trying to club up and get partners of existing businessmen who are traditional businessmen. So somebody is making some craft or some, designer material for generations. Poor person sitting in some village, but they don't know how to use the app. Okay, so Amazon goes to them and says, use our platform. We got customers and all this. So think about that. Basically, you're looking at an idea which is of the next stage generation business, digital or whatever, and the social media space. Everything. But what I'm saying is that now when you look at that idea, look at trying a combination of an existing field which can be digitalized. Okay, so that's a big opportunity because you are creating platforms that never existed. For example, if you look at interviewing, okay, so initially people never had this kind of an interview. What is today Instagram doing for us? It's giving us a platform. But the interviewer and the interviewed person, both are always required, isn't it true? So I would say, whether it is an old age industry, then, you have to study differently, understand differently. It's a new age industry, especially in the technology and the science space, it requires different orientation. So you decide whether you want to go to the traditional model. If you go to the traditional model also, you have to get digitalized. If you're going to purely digitalize, try to combine with the traditional models. So that's where the success lies.
Yes. Wow. So, sir, what if a person who is trying to build a company with traditional way and is not capable enough to go to and transition to the new age industry? So what would their idea be? Should they go for localization only, or should they stop there and think and wait for the finance to come, and then they can go and transition into new age industry?
So the first things first, a lot of people, especially the new age entrepreneurs, believe that, when a funder comes, then only they'll be able to do the business.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but that's a wrong thing. Funder doesn't fund your idea. They fund your commitment into that field. Okay, so a lot of MBA people also make a lot of good business plans. And this is an idea, this is the idea of the future. How Ola made it, how Uber made it, how Oyo made it. Let me tell you, let's stop being funny. Of course, if you have a dad who's got, millions of dollars to be burned, then you are lucky. But a professional investor understands, first of all, you show me your idea into revenue model. And it can't be on paper. So I work with a lot of investors. They say, we look at this particular scalability. I will never invest in you at zero stage. When you're, suppose your dream is from 0 to 100, okay, but 0 to 10 you have to do it on your own, okay. Then I've seen the potential, okay, he's got a potential of 0 to 100, no doubt, but he's got from 0 to 10 on his own. Then I say, okay, great, so you have done it, okay, without any financial assistant. You have burnt your own personal cash investments, you have done it. I love you. Now from 10 to 100 I will invest. Please understand this. So if you have an idea and you go to every venture capitalist or an angel investor and say, no, I've got a great idea. He said, good, very good, very good. Even if he wants to give you 100 rupees, he will not give you. He'll only give you 10 rupees. As I told you, you have to be lucky to have a father who said, ja beta, 2-4 crore kharcha kar." But let me tell you, that is not the way it is. So what I'm saying is that you have to start from where you are. Okay? And don't worry, keep trying for investments, no doubt about it. You can't wait for investors to come to you, but start your business. A time will come, you start realizing on your own, saying that, my own personal funding is not enough. Okay? So what is happening? At one end, you should grow your business, and the other end, you should look at your investors. And the good news is that there are so many investors now. And India is a hotspot, not only for Corona, but also for investors. So you'll be surprised, there are so many investors, they're looking out for good entrepreneurs. Okay? But remember, they are investing on the entrepreneur, not the entrepreneur's idea alone. So be that man where people will come and tell, here is a person worth investing because he's already gone from 0 to 10, and I know he's got a potential of 0 to 100. And probably you may not even know. He understands you got a potential from 100. It's not from 0 to 100, but from 100 to 1000. But the journey from 0 to 10 is your own personal journey. Okay? So start. Investors will come at the right time.
Great, sir. And if, sir, what would be your one big advice if a 18-year-old like me is watching this and want to do something big in life but haven't thought about it?
Read a lot.
He's like, मुझे कुछ करना है.
Read a lot. Okay, because see what happens currently, it's all at an idea stage. See, 18 years is a very interesting part of your life. That age shows you are an adult, yet you're not fully matured. Okay? So government will give you the voting rights after 18 years, but government will not give you the marriage rights officially. So till 21 years, as a boy, you can't get married. Of course, the girls can get married at 18. But understand one thing, this is the age to dream. This is the right age to think beyond. Because see, I'll tell you, a lot of dreams are in the beginning very imaginary. And if you imagine only, you will understand dreams. But I'll tell you, the moment you become 30, okay, your realities will start hitting you. Okay, then you start becoming practical, and suppose you're already married, you have your parents who are getting aged, old. So what happens, even though you're a dreamer, then one part of your mind not only dreams, but also look at the practical side of it. So at 18 years, I'm saying that you dream a lot, there is nothing wrong. Okay, but remember one thing, start reading a lot. What happens by reading, you start gathering information of saying that, okay, how did they do it? So when you read a lot, and especially I've written so many books. Why am I writing books? Not because only I write books, but I want to share my experiences with the next generation of entrepreneurs. One of my most famous book is Chanakya in You. So you must have read it, or you can read it. It's a journey of an 18-year-old boy who actually wants to know what to do in life, and he's so confused. But then slowly the journey starts. So what I'm saying is that at 18 years, you have yet to start on your journey. At the same time, you're not zero. You have seen life, but you're a dreamer. So make the dream big by reading about the success story of other dreamers. That should be the commitment. And one advice to the dreamers, that is, become not just dreamers, but dreamers should become readers. Read inspirational stories, watch inspirational videos and messages, and your dream will become bigger and in the long run, practical.
Wow, great, sir. And also, I've heard, and this is one of my favorite audiobook which I've heard of yours, and that is yours. That is Chanakya for Youth.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was unable to understand it or not, but I've heard that you said that whenever you're starting your business journey, start thinking about your retirement. So can you please explain that, sir?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, how old are you right now? 18 years, okay?
Yeah.
After 80 years, how old will you be?
98.
So let's have this whole consideration that you're going to live for 100 years. Okay? Now tell me one thing. after 80 years, will you be 98 years? Will you be 98 years?
Mentally,
No, what you will be, okay? You don't have a choice because time keeps growing, okay?
okay,
So what
okay,
I'm saying is that think about your retirement means a day will come, okay, when you will be 50, 60, 80, whatever it is, But a lot of people in the beginning only think about the present, okay? Present is good and they will do it. But as you grow older and older, you start realizing that you will also have to wind up one day. Okay, everybody is not permanent. Okay, so everybody has to walk. So what happened? I'm not telling you that you should become negative. अरे यार एक दिन तो बुढ़ा होके मरने वाला है. But the whole idea is that if you start thinking about what is going to happen after your retirement, you start building your life better now. Okay, believe me, when I was hardly 25 years old, when I started my entrepreneurship journey, okay, so I'm like 45 years old, 20 years ago when I started thinking after 60 years, what will happen to my company? Think about it. So I started thinking, so what it is called, begin with the end in the mind. Okay, begin with the end in the mind. Anyway, I have to reach that journey, but the journey I will enjoy and make it permanent. I may be gone, but my company will survive. So let me give you another example. Let's say you are traveling from place A to place B. Okay, what do you do nowadays? You put it on a Google map. Okay.
yeah,
So when you are actually putting a Google map, the first thing you enter is where you want to go. Google map
yeah.
knows where you are. Okay, but only you can decide where you want to go. Okay, but if you don't know where you want to go, then Google map also cannot guide you. So what
Correct,
I'm saying is that
100%.
think about it, saying that from age of 18 or 20 till 60 years, 40 years, where do I want to be? Okay, so and then what happens is that then you are actually, initially it looks like a very difficult exercise, Okay, what will I be at 60? I don't know. But at least you start thinking by 60 I should be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And believe me, you start building your life accordingly. I'll give you a simple example. There is a concept called as taking a sankalpa. You know what is the meaning of taking a sankalpa? When you sit for a puja or any particular thing, the pujari tells you, okay, take a sankalpa. Sankalpa means you actually tell, oh Bhagwan, oh God, I want to achieve this and please bless me. So sankalpa is beginning with the end in the mind. This is what I want to achieve and I require your blessings. So coming back, your same question is that when you plan your retirement, actually you're planning your life. Okay, when you're planning your retirement, actually you're planning your life, because many times, especially your parents, did not have that privilege of planning their retirement. Okay, and let me tell you, planning the retirement, usually 90% things is financial planning. Okay, having a provident fund or some insurance or saving, that's only one part of it. But actually I'll tell you, once you retire, you really start living your life, because your responsibilities are over. And imagine at 60 and you're still going to live for another 40 years. What to do? So what I'm saying is that it's actually creating a life plan. So when I'm telling you want to be an entrepreneur, don't look at entrepreneur as a small part. It's a whole life commitment. And one day you should retire, but your company should continue to grow. So I need to think about your full life plan like a Google map. Maybe it's 200 kilometers away, but I know that it's going to take so much time. I'm going to enjoy the journey. So retirement planning is actually planning your life for a betterment to enjoy it.
Wow, great, sir. And this is very personal question which I'm going to ask is what would be your 3 advices for me?
So my first advice for you is that, Jay, continue doing this show. Don't stop at all. Okay. Advice number 2 is that whatever you have learned, okay, directly, indirectly, not only from this show or from me, for anybody, please share it to others. Because you have to understand one thing, you are in an age group where there are a lot of friends and you can discuss and all. So please spread this whole message of entrepreneurship. And the third and the most important thing is that be in touch with me.
Sure, sir, 100%.
So simple 3. Number 1 is that continue doing what you're doing, because it's a wonderful kind of a journey you're taken. But don't stop with 1 or 2 or 5 shows. Keep doing it. So it has to be a big commitment, lifelong commitment. Second is whatever you learn, keep sharing, and of course be in touch with people who are senior experts, so that you will also grow. And I'm happy to be in touch with you, Jay. Thank you for being there.
I'm blessed, sir. I'm blessed to be in touch with you, sir.
Thank you, Jay.
Actually, I founded you from the Ranveer sir's show, and I was like, 1 year back, I was like, I thought that I want to do something in physics related field, but I didn't know what to do. And then I saw Ranveer sir's podcast, where I saw Abhijit sir's one podcast, and there I got that no, I want to do this particular thing in physics field. And after that, your podcast came, and from that I started watching and hearing podcasts. When I heard about your podcast, I was like, wow, the amount of wisdom sir has is like, I want to at least get 1 or 2% of it. I'll be blessed.
Okay, then let me ask you the final question. Okay, you
Okay.
have heard me, and also, which is that one thought or idea that has actually impressed you about all that you heard about Chanakya?
uh, the idea of in starting only you said that taking everything positively,
Correct.
because what I would say, opportunist thinking.
Correct.
Yes, and that's why I have taken this podcast in this situation, because I know that if I have actually started my very first podcast is with my father.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and he's a vice president of a very big IT company. So I was like, let me start with him only. And then I was very searching about whom should I get next. 2 or 3 friends I got them, but then this lockdown happened. I was like, now this is the time where I can reach to more great personalities, because at this point of time they will at least find some time to have this podcast with me.
Correct.
And this morning was actually my best morning, because that notification that you started following me was like, oh man, my dream come true.
Thank you. Thank you.
So sir, have you enjoyed this podcast, and what should I
I
improve here
have
in this
enjoyed a
podcast?
lot. No improvement. Actually, you should just thank your daddy for being the first person on your show. And please give my regards to him also. And any help you want in the future
Sure,
also,
sir.
please stay connected.
Sure, sir, 100%. Actually, he is the one. Whenever I send you something or anyone, he is the one. I'll show to him that is this correct? Any changes and that all. So he
Good.
is the one who is backing me.
Good. So you have a
on
role
this.
model mentor in your house itself.
Yeah.
So you are lucky. Same thing with me also. So my father is my first guru, my role model. So whenever I have challenges, the first thing I go is to my dad. Even at this age, so as I told him, 45. I always run to my father. Papa, what to do? And say, "Ye kar lena, beta." So you never grow older than your dad. I think that's the real
Yes.
important thing you should understand. So you may be very senior by age, but still your dad is around. Always
Yeah.
keep taking his advice and mentoring. Fantastic. You will never fail in your life, Jay. Take my word for it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast and blessing me and the viewers with your wisdom.
Always there, not only today, but in the future also. I'm sure with your parents' blessing, with the grace of God and the commitment that you have, you will definitely be successful. And I'll be part of your success journey also. Happy and proud to be part of your show, Jay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.